earlier. The premise for this is that the integrated nature of Telstra as it stands today has led to higher prices and slower speed.
Your time's expired. Resume your seat. Resume your seat, Senator Conroy. Senator Ludlam.
Thank you, President. It must be Minister Conroy's day. I'm just going to change the subject briefly. My question is to the Minister for Communications. It relates to the government's proposed mandatory net censorship scheme. Can the Minister confirm for us whether the trial results are in, whether he is still planning on releasing the trial results in full to the Australian public, and whether the Minister's reliance on using a small self-selected group of internet users to trial a mass-deployed compulsory filter qualifies as evidence-based policy?
The Minister for Broadband Communications and the Digital Economy, Senator Conroy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thank Senator Ludlam for his question. Mr. President, the live pilot trial into ISP-level filtering has recently been completed. The report has not yet been finalised, but I have undertaken, and I repeat that commitment, to release it in due course. In the meantime, the existing laws introduced by the Howard government remain in place and I assume still have the support of those opposite. Labor took a comprehensive cyber safety policy to the 2007 election. The internet is, Mr. President, the most powerful platform for information and entertainment that we have known. However, it also has potential dangers. That is why the Rudd government in the 2008-9 budget committed $125.8 million towards our cyber safety plan. This includes funding for education, law enforcement and establishment of the Youth Advisory Group of people aged between 11 and 17 years to help develop our policy.
Resume your seat. Senator Ludlam.
A point of order on the point of relevance. The Minister, I would ask you to draw his attention to the fact that I haven't asked him about any of the things that he's informing the chamber about at the moment, and ask you to draw his attention back to the clean feed mandatory censorship proposal.
Order. You'll need to... Unfortunately, Senator Ludlam, there were those in the chamber who drowned out the latter part of your comments, which I couldn't even hear.
Thank you, President.
If you'd repeat your comments, please.
Thank you, President. The point of order is on the point of relevance. The Minister is busy entertaining the chamber with information which was completely irrelevant to the point of my question. I'm asking for information about the mandatory net censorship proposal and the Minister's reliance on this evidence in rolling out mandatory net censorship around Australia.
On the point of order, I consider the Minister is answering the question. I draw the Minister's attention to the fact that there are 44 seconds remaining, and whilst I can't instruct the Minister how to answer the question, I draw your attention to the question. The Minister.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I was saying, one element of the policy includes examining the introduction of ISP-level filtering for refused classification material under the existing National Classification Code. And I did see a comment from a university professor who knows nothing about actual internet filtering recently, which I think is the basis on which you're seeking to ask your question about whether or not the basis of the test was valid. And I think it was dealt with quite comprehensively by the company that was doing the testing, Senator Ludlam. I think if you go back and check the clippings, you'll find that the criticism made of the validity
Senator Conroy,
of the
your time's expired. Resume your seat. Resume your seat. Order. Senator Ludlam.
Thank you, President. I have a supplementary question. In estimates hearings on the 28th of May, the Minister assured the committee that he was considering additional accountability measures to guide the material submitted to the ACMA blacklist, if you could inform us of those. And also you indicated that you would be undertaking genuine public consultation on the policy, the very important social policy issues thrown up by this proposal. I'm wondering whether you can update us as to whether those commitments were serious or not.
The Minister.
Yeah, look, thank you. Thank you for that supplementary question, Senator Ludlam. Yeah, as I indicated at estimates, I have been in discussion with some in the industry about an enhanced practical measure to ensure confidence that a government minister or a government bureaucrat is not the sole arbiter. There have been a number of options floated. As I've said, it estimates possibly the classification board may consider all of the items that are possibly to be classified. Possibly an industry-based body may also be an option, where an industry body with the government agency involved could go through and examine it. That's one of the options that I'm considering. Another is a parliamentary committee that would then also examine the classification process. So there are a number of options that the government is genuinely considering.
Senator Conroy, your time's expired. Senator Ludlam.
Thanks, President. I'll just ask a further supplementary, if I could, whether the Minister can tell us when those announcements will be made about the additional accountability, and whether the Minister can tell us, on the basis of the evidence which he's received, which has not yet been made public, what proportion of material which would be classified RC will his filter actually block in comparison with the amount or the volume of this traffic exchanged on the internet and through peer-to-peer networks and so on.
The Minister.
Thank you. Well, as Senator Ludlam, I assure I have no filter on Senator Ludlam, Senator Evans, but as Senator Ludlam well knows, there has never been a suggestion by this government that peer-to-peer traffic would or could be blocked by our filter. Never been suggested. So for you to continue to make the suggestion that we are is just to mislead the chamber and the Australian public, Senator Ludlam, and you know better than that. So we are not attempting to suggest that that can capture this. In terms of the statistics that you've sought, I'm sure that sort of information, and as I haven't received the report yet, I'm not able to actually answer your question, but I'm sure information along those lines, providing that's what we were testing for, in terms of the exact nature of the RC classification, will be available to you in that report. But as I actually haven't received the report yet, I'm not actually able to give you much further information at this stage.